Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to At Lafayette Live here on Monday, July 27th, 2026. Thank you, as always, so much for joining us here on a Monday evening. It means so much to me that you join us, that you join me each and every Monday, or at least many Mondays. The Mondays that we're here on At Lafayette Live, and hopefully you catch up on all the content that we put out throughout the week on the Lafayette Reel on our YouTube channel. Which, if you're watching this now, you're watching At Lafayette Live on the Lafayette Reel. It's our own little network. Must see TV is taken. Gonna have to think about that one. Must something stream. I'll think about that. If you got an idea, toss it in the chat or send me an email. If you don't know, I'm Jeff Cooch with the Russell team, powered by App Properties. I'm a local realtor here in the Greater Lafayette area, but on At Lafayette Live, we talk about all things Lafayette, fun things to do in the area. Development news is always a big topic of conversation here. What's going on in the area? And of course, we cover real estate. We talk about the housing market, what things are looking like on the ground and by the data here in the area. We go on some home tours of interesting homes, and today we will finish up, I think, with some home tours that I think is a good segment that I have enjoyed in the past. We're going to look at homes at various price points to get an idea of what you can get at various price points here in the area. But if you haven't joined us before, even if you have, drop in the chat where you are watching from. It's always interesting to see where people are watching from, so go ahead and do that. Always awesome to have people chatting live during the show. So I'm trying a little something new with some of my camera stuff here today. So if I look like I'm glancing down on occasion trying to figure things out, that's because I'm glancing down on occasion trying to figure things out. The testing was a little touch and go, but I thought I'd give it a try. But if you notice it looking a little weird tonight, just go with it. So there you go. Let's dive in if you guys are ready, because I'm ready. First bit of news that I want to talk about is road work. Kind of the joke is that there are two seasons in Indiana: winter and road work, and yet another major project, I was going to say pops up, but that's not the case. Another major project continues here in the Greater Lafayette area, just a little south of here. But if you head south towards Indianapolis from Lafayette, you kind of have two ways to go, depending on where you're coming from in town. You can go down I-65, but a lot of people, especially if you're heading out from the south side of town, head down US 52 and catch that, and then it merges into I-65 just on the north side of Lebanon. Well, that on-ramp, that connector, is closed. It's been closed for about a week now, and it will remain closed until I'm supposed to have this date in front of me. This is what I get for trying to do too much at once. November. It will remain closed until sometime in November, as they work to get the new interchange between Indiana 52, or US 52, not Indiana 52, US 52 and I-65 redone, reconnected down there. That is, of course, down there and around the Lebanon Leap District, which is where Eli Lilly has a giant new facility going up. Meta has a new facility going up, and there's a lot of controversy around that. There's obviously a lot of economic impact to be had around there, but what it means for us is if you're heading south out of Lafayette and you take 52, you're going to want to follow those detour signs and get off on 47 and head east a few miles and pick up I-65 there, because if you try to keep going, you're going to pull a Blues Brothers and just jump off the bridge if you manage to get that far. So take note of that, and we'll keep you updated as that project continues. And if you want to keep updated and make sure that you don't miss anything that we put out here on the channel, hit, you guessed it, the like and subscribe button. It matters. I know that we harp on it a lot, but the metrics matter, and it helps us reach even more people like you who hopefully enjoy what we're doing here on at Lafayette Live and the Lafayette Reel. Next one's a fun bit of information. I always try to mix it up. Purdue announced last year that they were going to send out an expedition to look for Amelia Earhart's lost plane, and indeed Amelia Earhart herself, or evidence of Amelia Earhart as it was. There are some satellite imagery that has been found that suggests that her plane could possibly be just offshore of an island in Kiribati in, I'm going to butcher this, Niku Island. So they were all lined up to go out last year, but ran into some last minute permitting stuff with the local government there. They've got everything, all the I's dotted and T's crossed now, so they will be heading out to go check and see if this outline that has been seen in satellite imagery is indeed the infamous missing plane of Amelia Earhart. They're going to head out on October 3rd from the Purdue airport, and of course make lots and lots of connections from there, because you're not getting straight from the Purdue airport to Kiribati, I assure you of that. About halfway between Hawaii and Australia, to see if this object, the Terrea object, is indeed Amelia Earhart's plane or not. So I thought that was a fun bit of news. You know, it's fun and adventuresome. It's Purdue connected. So stay tuned. I'll definitely be talking about the results of that. I rather think from everything that I've read that it seems like there's at least a chance that this is indeed Amelia Earhart's plane. The shape that they've seen on satellite imaging, of course, is right. And apparently on the island, there have been signs that were found in the past that indicate that it could be Amelia Earhart, but no smoking gun evidence, as some of the investigators have said. But that, you know, this would kind of put the bow on everything to prove that that was indeed Amelia Earhart. So if you want to know when that actually happens, hit the like and subscribe button. You guessed it. So you don't miss a minute of all of our videos and updates about Amelia Earhart and everything else here in the Greater Lafayette area on at Lafayette Live and the Lafayette Reel. Okay. Gonna move on. Little bit of development news. You know how this goes. Always going to arrange windows here. If you go north out of West Lafayette on Salisbury, which is one of the major north-south thoroughfares through West Lafayette. It's the road that goes north out of West Lafayette, just next to the Payless on the west side. Eventually turns into 50 West, named County Road. There is a new neighborhood that has been taking shape called Wiggins Farm, built by a local developer, Malakis. But in this last round of Area Plan Commission meeting reports that came out in this last month, another developer is going to develop just to the north of Wiggins Farms, and they have sought to rezone 12 acres of a 20-acre tract from R1 to R1C. And then they're going to put, I thought I had how many, here we go. The conceptual site plan is that there are 47 residential lots. So that plan is non-binding, but the interesting thing about R1C is that, let me pull up the definition for R1C. Single-family detached homes on smaller, narrower lots, minimum size of 4,400 square feet. R1B, the next up, is 6,000 square feet, and then I believe R1A is somewhere in the sevens. So if you think about, the typical size of a home in square feet, under roof, that kind of gives you an idea of what we're talking about. Let's say that a typical home is about 2,400 square feet. Obviously, some homes are larger, some homes are smaller. You can talk about McMansions and how huge they get. But, a 1,200 square foot home with 2 stories would be about 2,400 square feet. But the 1,200 square feet is the actual area that the house takes up. Now that's depending on if you're counting in the garage or not. But basically somewhere between about a quarter and a half, so a quarter to about a third of the actual property is taken up by house on a 4,400 square foot home when you're talking about a 1,200 square foot home. So more housing coming to the area. 44 homes, 47 lots is not necessarily huge in comparison to some of the numbers that we've been talking about lately. I mean, lately, we've been talking about numbers and, that include, numbers like, 1,100 homes being built just down the road total over time. So it's not giant, but it's not nothing either. And the fact that it is R1B, that means smaller lot sizes. That can mean some slightly more compressed homes. It's not closer to each other. You still have to maintain distances that the fire prevention services say. But since the lots are smaller, you get more into the same square footage. But just, more evidence that the development is just going to continue apace up here on the north side of West Lafayette. And indeed, here's the zoning map of where this is going to go. And you can kind of see right here on the left-hand side, this purple I-3 is where SK Hynix is going to go. Some of the 1,100 homes from Millbrook are up this way, and this is the new section here that's this is just north of Wiggins Farm. So Wiggins Farm is being built right here. It's got 15-ish homes built right now. So another new neighborhood popping up here on the north side of West Lafayette. It is the next in line. It is not the last in line. We're going to see more and more and more over the next few years. And hopefully we're going to see more and more development to support those houses, because people need parks and they need performing arts centers and they need, all of the amenities that make a great place to live. So if you want to keep up to date on that, or if you're interested in any of those homes that would be popping up, or you need to sell your home to get into one of these homes, go to, that's not it. Go to the LafayetteReal.com/YouTube, fill out that form, and I'll get in touch with you to talk about all of your housing needs here in the Greater Lafayette area. All right. Next bit of news I want to talk about. Last time around, we talked about a hospital groundbreaking. This time around, I'm here to talk about a hospital groundbreaking. Once upon a time, we had 3 hospitals coming here to the West Lafayette area. I'm sorry, once upon a time, we had 4 hospitals coming here to the West Lafayette area. We are now down to 3. The first and perhaps smallest fell out of contention in the last few months, but our second groundbreaking in almost as many weeks has happened. Parkview Health, which is a Fort Wayne-based healthcare hospital operator, broke ground on their West Lafayette facility this last week, following IU Health's groundbreaking just a couple weeks ago. So kind of show you on the map where these are. I'm in my All right. Well, close enough. Jaeger Road. Here's SK Hynix. Parkview Health right here. Just up the road, IU Health. They have both broken ground now. Parkview Health breaking ground on a new hospital that will have 4 operating rooms, an emergency room, 40 beds for inpatient services, with a second phase planned for 40 more beds that their leadership is already saying looks like might be coming sooner rather than later. And they're going to bring 200 full-time workers, healthcare workers, to the area. So we now have 3 hospitals that have officially broken ground. Parkview Health just broke ground a couple of weeks ago. IU Health broke ground on their full-service hospital on the west side. And the Franciscan Hospital, which is an emergency department, is under roof already on the west side as well. So we have very quickly gone from 0 hospitals on the west side to 3 hospitals on the west side. Parkview is holding to a 2028 opening, and they're starting to talk about bringing some of their healthcare professionals and recruiting healthcare professionals here in the area over the next year, so they'll have a presence in the area. So when that hospital actually opens, they will be off and running. So I thought that's worth talking about here. What do you guys think about going from 0 hospitals to 3 hospitals? I know that I personally think it's a good thing, but anyway. All right, so tonight we are going to look at homes at 3 price points to talk about what's available here in the Greater Lafayette area. And we're going to begin, we're going to look at homes at $250,000, we're going to look at homes at $350,000, and we're going to look at homes at $450,000. Now, in and of itself, those might sound like really, really random, wacky numbers. Like, Jeff, why $250,000? Why not $200,000? Why not $100,000? Well, I'm glad you asked. The reason that I picked $250,000 is I went through the inventory of homes here in Tippecanoe County. So today, when I'm saying the Greater Lafayette area, for this particular data set, we are looking at Tippecanoe County. In the future, I think I'm going to look at a little bit of a comparison of what can you get in Fountain County, what can you get in Carroll County, what can you get in Benton County, what can you get in Tippecanoe County for a price point, and kind of do those comparisons. But for tonight, we're looking at Tippecanoe County, and I went through the entire inventory. And why $250,000? Well, there are some homes that are available for cheaper than $250,000. Absolutely. There are a small handful of homes cheaper than $250,000 that I would call livable, ready to go. Doesn't really need anything. They are, of course, on the smaller side, which is not to rule them out. They tend to be national homes in the 800 to 900 square foot range, and they hover around that $200,000 mark. But they're pretty few and far between. And once you've kind of seen one, you've kind of seen them all. The national home, when you kind of walk in, you have a living room with a kitchen right behind, and off to one side, you'll have 3 bedrooms and a 2 or 3 bedrooms, and then a bathroom all off of that same hallway, all in about 850, 870 square feet or so. And I highly recommend them. I love national homes, and there's most always 1 or 2 or 3 on the market here in Tippecanoe County. But other than that, when you're talking about $200,000 and less, you're talking about something that really needs some work. And, around $200,000, you're probably looking at something that needs floors, walls, a new kitchen, a new bathroom. And I'm not talking like, oh, it's dated and we don't work. That's not stylish enough. I'm talking about functional, like we can see the subfloors, that sort of thing. And if you go down to $100,000, those are euphemistically investor specials. Most of them, you'd probably be better off bringing your bulldozer, and you're really just buying the land at that point. So $250,000, the reason $250,000 is kind of the price point where you see homes, livable homes, start to appear here in Tippecanoe County. And yes, we can talk about like what does that really mean money-wise in $250,000. How much money is that and everything? But the reality that is the reality. So that's why $250,000. And then I thought, well, let's just add $100,000 a couple of times to see kind of what the jumps are, just to put into perspective what you can get at each price point. So we're going to begin with well, the one that we're going to begin with isn't loading properly. Because of how I have to get this to work on the video, they have to load just right. Give me just a second. If I can't correct this quickly, we shall go on to the next one, I assure you. But let me just take 30 seconds and see if going into this another way will get it loaded properly, because I did take some time to figure this out earlier, and appreciate your patience. In some ways, like this one is my favorite in a few ways. So, well, it didn't load. All right, I'm gonna try it this way. I really think that this one is worth the while. Let's see if I can make this look good for you guys. Ooh, got some real thunder going on out here. It's not entirely possible, not beyond the realm of possibility that I lose you guys. So let's punch this. Let me punch this up, see what this looks like. Okay, we're gonna go with it. So this is 1200 North 4th Street. So I'm not gonna try to pull the map up on this one because of how this is not working quite properly for me here. But North 4th Street, so the numbers start down closest to the river, 1st Street closest to the river, 30th Street furthest away from the river. North is north of State Street of 26, and south is south of State Street / 26. So this is 1200 North 4th Street, North 4th Street. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,584 square feet. It is craftsman style, and obviously this front image is got some AI processing. This is what the house looks like without the processing. I'm rather partial to the craftsman style. It's not for everybody, I understand. This house was built in the 1940. I was going to say the 30s or 40s, 1940s. Got a nice front porch for your relaxation. Lots of wood trim around the doors, around the windows in every craftsman home. It's kind of the hallmark of that style. You can tell it's been updated a bit over the years, but still very much maintains the original character of the home. It's bigger, but it's not. It's bigger than a national home, but it's not giant. 1,584 square feet. About double the size of a national home. Definitely gives you a little bit of room to stretch out. You have a separate dining area. You move into a sitting room that might have once upon a time been an enclosed porch and was brought in. Got a kitchen that's been updated, modern appliances. Got the subway tile on the floor. Where to stick a washer and dryer in one of these older homes is always a little bit of a puzzle to figure out. Updated bathrooms. You move into the living spaces and into the bedrooms rather, and one of the advantages of older homes is that the bathrooms are not tiny, and in this particular home you have 3 bedrooms and 2 baths, so you got some room to stretch out. If you can use one of them as an office or as a bedroom. Moving down to the basement, make it a gym. And you have a 2-car detached garage, which, not every home at this price point is going to have. And there's a 13 by 9 finished room, attached to it. Got its own garage, own porch. So, if you need to set up a separate office, a hobby space, have a little bit of separation, it's great. So that is 1200 North 14th Street, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 1,584 square feet. And in our analysis of what you can get for $250,000 here in the Greater Lafayette area, this one is currently priced at $250,000. So that one's right on the money. And we're going to move on. We're talking about what does $250,000 get you here in the Greater Lafayette area. And our next stop is in West Lafayette. And this one appears to be loading correctly, so yay for that. This one is a condo. This is a 2-unit condo where you share a wall or 2 walls or 3 walls, depending on the configuration. In Camelback in West Lafayette. So here's a look at 417 Trace 4. Again, we're looking at houses that cost what $250,000 gets you in Tippecanoe County. And first, we looked at an older home that's had some amount of updating, but probably needs still a little bit of love in just off of downtown Lafayette on 4th Street. Now we're moving to a condo in West Lafayette in the West Lafayette School Corporation. And so that really kind of sets this apart. If you're okay with sharing walls with somebody else, this one is actually really, really a great deal. Getting into the West Lafayette School Corporation is like everything for some people. I'll show it to you here on a map. So we're right here, and you can see just off of Northwestern Avenue, here is West Lafayette Intermediate School. It's a long walk, but it's theoretically walkable. Walkable for a teacher, probably not so much for a student. And down here towards the south and slightly east is West Lafayette Junior Senior High School. And then also really super close to Purdue University. You can see, it's hard to miss. Here's Mackey Arena, and here's Ross-Ade Stadium. Here are all the golf courses through here. So it's just down the street to Purdue University. It doesn't really get more West Lafayette than this, and we're talking about what you can get for $250,000. And so let's take a tour, and then I'll give you the exact price. But you can see you have a 1-car garage. You do share a wall because it is a condo. Or 2 or 3 walls. They're set up as 4plexes in Camelback. Sorry. And they were all built in well, I don't have that number right in front of me. I thought I did. They're not that terribly old in the big scheme of things. You got fireplace. Fit your own grand piano in there. 2 stories. Admittedly, that light fixture needs a little bit of work. Highly functional kitchen. You got a catwalk just like you get in a more modern home. I just picture Marky Mark when I say that on the catwalk. Yeah. We move out 1984. It was built in 1984, so 40 years old. It's 2 bedrooms, 3 baths. That's going to be 2 bedrooms, 2.5 baths is the way that works out. See the stackable laundry, and you have a great room. You have vaulted ceilings. Yes, it is a condo. Yes, you do share walls, but you have your own. You have your own private space, and here you go. the community has an in-ground pool, so you can go enjoy the in-ground pool without having to enjoy the pleasures of maintenance on the in-ground pool. So we're looking at homes in the Greater Lafayette area at $250,000. This is 417 Trace 4 in West Lafayette. It's a West Lafayette condo, 2 bedrooms, 3 baths, 1,369 square feet, and it's currently listed at $255,000. So that is home number 2 for around $250,000 here in the Greater Lafayette area. When I say around 250, I started at 250, and I just, if there were 3 at 250, I would have showed them to you. But today we have 250, 255, and then I will show you the next one. The next one is in an older section of Lafayette. It is on Kossuth. It was built in, built in 1896, but obviously been updated since then. But this is 1431 Kossuth. And Kossuth is one of the major east-west arteries through Lafayette. If you don't know where Kossuth is, here it is. So this is Kossuth, east-west, straight through here. So you'll see Columbian Park right over here to the northeast, Purdue University over here to the northwest. So very, very centrally located in an older part of Lafayette. But this is 1431 Kossuth in Lafayette, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 1,757 square feet. You can see corner lot there. Detached garage, plenty of room out back without being, so much to take care of. Updated floors, brighten light on the inside. Cabinetry that, has been painted and updated. 3 bedroom, 1.5 bath. Sorry, not 2 bath. You got your kitchen with your little dining nook, living room. We're talking about homes at around $250,000 here. So this is 1,757 square feet. So, not going to be massive, but not going to be as small as a national home either, as we move through some of the bedrooms and then some of the alternative living spaces. What was probably originally a back porch was then enclosed and brought into the envelope of the home. Lots of light there with all of the windows and skylight. We head up to the second floor for the upstairs bedrooms. Then the office space up at the top of the stairs. Already set up to run your own salon. So if you're into some serious hair care or running a side business out of your home, you're already set up, or you can take that out and make it your own. So that is a great look at 1431 Kossuth Street. 3 bedrooms, 1.5 bath, 1,757 square feet, currently priced at $255,000. And that is a look at what $250,000 gets you here in the Greater Lafayette area in Tippecanoe County. So you can have an older craftsman on 4th Street. You can have a condo in West Lafayette that is in the West Lafayette School Corporation. Or you can have an older home with a bit of room in a central core of older Lafayette on Kossuth Street. This one is priced at $255,000. So again, why $250,000? Well, because anything less, and there's some options available, but it starts to really kind of get solid around around that 250 mark. So if you would be interested in looking at any of those homes, go to the LafayetteReal.com/YouTube, fill out that form, and I will be in touch to take care of all of your housing needs here in the Greater Lafayette area. So I am Jeff Gooch with the Russell team, powered by App Properties, and I'm your Lafayette local real estate resource of choice. And next up, we're going to look at homes in the $350,000 price range. We looked at what $250 can buy you, but what can $350 buy you? And why $250 to $350? I just decided to go in $250,000 or to go in $150,000 increments. So we're going to go a little just to the east side of town, out to Old State Road 25. This is 3636 Old State Road 25. This is just a little east of town, but a lovely ranch that is 3 bedrooms, 3 full baths. That was built in 1976. 2,584 square feet. So we get a jump from the mid ones to the upper ones, up into up solidly into the 2,500, 2,600 square foot range. So we definitely start to open up the amount of room that we have. You know, our living spaces are a little bit better. Sometimes we're going to get, you know, two living rooms instead of one. And that's what that extra $100,000 buys you. It's not the only thing that it buys you. Obviously, it's going to depend on location. But, you know, when you go just the Old State Road 25, I was going to say a little outside of town. That's overstating the case. It's not a little outside of town. Head down to the basement here. I mean, that just really has the feel of just like cozy, you know, winters in front of the fire down there. You can also set it up as your theater. You know, it's been lovingly taken care of. You have a 2-car attached garage. You have a nice shed out back, lovely porch to spend some late summer days out on the porch. Put koi in your pond. So that is 3636 Old State Road 25 in Lafayette. 3 bedrooms, 3 baths, 2,584 square feet. Currently priced at exactly $350,000. As we continue our tour of homes here in the Greater Lafayette area, we started with what can you get for $250,000, and now we're looking at $350,000. So if you go out to the east side of town, you can get yourself about 2,500 very well taken care of square feet, and you really start to get some space to kind of start to stretch out. Also for for that $350,000 price range, you can get a home in West Lafayette, but this one is not in the West Lafayette School Corporation. This is just a little west of Purdue, just a little west of West Lafayette itself, if you will. But it's 4 bedrooms and 2 baths. Let's take a look. This is 202 Blueberry Lane in West Lafayette. 4 bedrooms, 2 baths, 2,288 square feet on 0.36 acres. So in this case, you're buying some proximity to West Lafayette, Purdue University, not the West Lafayette schools. You're in TSC schools, Tippecanoe School Corporation, but TSC schools rank really highly. Go out and do your research. And this is a solid 1960s bi-level, which I get is another style of home that I love. I love older homes of all sorts, as it turns out. But we'll take a little tour. You get your garden arch, but definition of these bi-levels is you come into a little landing, not enough room to really set up as a mudroom, and then you have to go up or down. And then you go up, and then you typically get living and dining area, kitchen upstairs. Most people set this up as their formal dining room with the kitchen and the attached dining room. And you can see this one's been updated over the years, made to look a little more modern than the 1960s, but I still love the brickwork and the stonework on the walls. That really harkens back to the era of the original build, while updating the kitchen with more modern appliances and a modern color tone, that white with black hardware. I know everybody loves it. I don't, but that's just me. I'm not buying the house. You are. And you can paint the walls too. Typically, we'll have some bedrooms upstairs, as we do here in this one, shared bathroom upstairs, and then you can see here what was probably originally 2 bedrooms was split. A wall was knocked down at some point to create a larger primary. Very, very, very typical in this age of home, in this particular layout of home. And you move downstairs, and you get some other some rooms down there that, depending on if you have added egress windows, if you can call them bedrooms or not. If sometimes it's a walkout, sometimes it's not. In this particular case, it is. So some of these bi-levels, you can have 6, 8 bedrooms in them. But the thing that I really love about bi-levels is this. You get 2 living areas. So you get a living area upstairs and you get a living area downstairs. And most typically, you get your more formal living area upstairs and your more casual living area downstairs. And this one perhaps takes the casual to an extreme with all of the brickwork, the original brickwork. I love the brick arch with the concrete keystone there. And they've definitely done a good job, I think, of like complementing the original architecture of the room and really kind of giving it a vibe. I was almost going to say a pub vibe, and I forgot that they actually had cricket written here above the dartboard. I mean, not quite, a British pub, but definitely, with the stonework and everything. And on this particular bi-level, and with many, you get the raised deck out back coming off of the pretty typically, like the upper floor will be the primary floor. This one's a little weird because you can see that at some point they had a above ground pool here. So if you're buying that with FHA or VA, you're going to have to put railings on that before that'll pass inspection, or appraisal rather. Don't want anybody falling off the deck, but lots of outdoor entertainment space out there. So there you go, 202 Blueberry Lane, West Lafayette, 4 bedrooms, 2 baths, 2,288 square feet, 0.36 acres, just to the west side of West Lafayette in the Tippecanoe School Corporation, currently listed for $355,000. And again, we're looking at what different price points here in the Greater Lafayette area will buy you. We started at $250,000, we moved up to $350,000. This one's listed for $355,000. So you get a little more. You get a little more space than the 250s, but you move over to the West Lafayette side, and so not quite as much as going over to the east side of Lafayette. You get a little bit of land. You get about a third of an acre. So that's what $355,000 will buy you. And if you're interested in that, go to the LafayetteReal.com/YouTube, fill out that form, and I will be in touch, because I'm Jeff Gooch, your Lafayette local real estate resource of choice. And then one more home as we look at what $350,000 will buy you here in the Greater Lafayette area. We looked at a home just on the east side of Lafayette. We looked at a home just on the west side of West Lafayette. And then our third one is going to be just to the north of West Lafayette in a brand new subdivision at Fieldstone at the Crossing. This is right behind Battleground Middle School, just around the corner from Harrison High School and Burnack Creek Elementary School. This one was built in 2018. I'm shocked that it's that old. I didn't realize. I mean, I realized, but it's just kind of funny how time goes with the way that all of these houses have popped up down there. It seems amazing that it was 8 years ago that this house was built, but that is indeed the truth. So this is 973 Colchester Lane, West Lafayette. Again, TSC School Corporations, and if you want to be close to the schools, you really can't do any better than this. I said right behind Battleground Middle School. 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 1,779 square feet. And what is essentially a new build neighborhood. You know, late 20 teens into the early 2020s, and there are still new homes going up in the general vicinity. But you can definitely tell that, you know, this is a modern home. You have that great room set up with living, dining, and kitchen all in one, fairly typical layout. You have the den slash office slash music room up front. I wouldn't put the fridge there, but you know, uh, sometimes you know, staging and AI and all of that will make odd choices. It's what you might call, you know, a basic home. You know, there's it's just under 1,800 square feet. There are 3 bedrooms and 2 baths. You have a 2-car attached garage. You have a fenced-in backyard with a patio. Lots of natural uh, light through the back there, but that is 973 Colchester Lane in West Lafayette. 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 1,779 square feet, currently listed for $355,000. So if you're looking at the $350,000 mark here in the Greater Lafayette area, you can get something that is just a little north of West Lafayette that is really, really close to the TSC schools and is so close to being a new build. You can go just a little west of West Lafayette and be in the TSC schools, but be really close to everything that West Lafayette has to offer. Or you can get a little more space and be on the east side of Lafayette. So then we will finish up the night with a look at what $350,000 will buy you here in the Greater Lafayette area. And when you're talking about $350,000, you start to get some an interesting variety of places. And first off, we're going to go out to Capilano, which like has some amazing homes. It was kind of one of the first luxury neighborhoods here in the Greater Lafayette area. This particular home was built in 1974. The homes in this area are still quite desirable, quite nice, but what happens is some of them are a little larger than others. Some of them have been taken care of and fixed up a little more than others. So when you get to $450,000, you start talking about what might be considered, you know, a typical, a historically kind of luxury neighborhood here in the Greater Lafayette area. But this is just to the northwest side of West Lafayette, just kind of past Menards out on the northwest side. But this is This is 3512 Capilano Drive in West Lafayette, TSC Schools. 5 bedrooms, 3 baths, 2,774 square feet on almost an acre, 0.8 acres, and feels, you know, almost feels like it's in nature, which is fairly typical for many homes in this neighborhood. But you move inside and you kind of have those barnwood beams that have been painted white up top. This one definitely has that feel of white with the beige walls and the white painted beams. But 2,700, almost 2,800 square feet means that, you know, you got a living room with a completely separate kitchen dining area. You're not doing this big great room setup like you are in more modern homes. And you move into one of your 5, count them, 5 bedrooms. This is the primary with the attached bathroom, you know, and kind of what I was saying about Capilano holds here. Like, this home is not all original to the 1970s, but it is also not exactly 2026 in all of its fit and finish. You could definitely do some updating to make it your own, but it's very much ready to go as well. There's nothing keeping you from living in it, and, you know, you could fix up one bathroom at a time as you go, sort of thing. And then you head down to the semi-finished basement, shall we call it? They've currently got it set up, you know, as a home gym. Obviously, your mechanical area is down there. You could certainly finish that off, turn that into a little nicer gym, turn it into a movie theater if you wanted. And then you head out back, and you know, this is really kind of what sells this particular home, is this lovely wooded backyard, and then you have the porch to enjoy some outdoor living, especially as summer seasonal summer is not coming to an end, but the summer of the school year is coming to an end. So that is 3512 Capilano Drive in West Lafayette. 5 bedrooms, 3 baths, 2,774 square feet on 0.8 acres. Currently listed for $450,000. And if you're interested in looking at that one, go to thelafayettereal.com/YouTube, fill out the form, and I will be in touch. I'm Jeff Gooch, your Lafayette local real estate resource of choice. And we're going to continue our look at what $450,000 will buy you here in the Greater Lafayette area. We did $250,000, we did $350,000, and now we are doing $450,000. $450,000 will buy you a home really, really close to Purdue University. And in the West Lafayette School Corporation. Just getting windows moved around here. So many windows to do these live streams. In Wabash Shores. So this is just a little north. I'll put this one on the map for you. This is Wabash Shores and Chippewa. Right here. So you just arc around right here and you can head on over to West Lafayette Intermediate School and on down to the high school, and then on down to Purdue University on down this way. And you're really on the edge of like the Happy Hollow area. So that's one of the advantages to homes in this area, is that you kind of start to, you can walk down the street and wander into the hollow and get into the park and enjoy all that nature and hiking that's in there. So let's take a tour of 204 Chippewa Street in West Lafayette. 4 bedrooms, 4 baths, 2,850 square feet on almost a third of an acre, 0.29 acres in the Happy Hollow area. And as we take this tour of homes in the Greater Lafayette area, and we see what $450,000 will buy you, $450,000 will buy you almost 3,000 square feet on a third of an acre in the West Lafayette School Corporation, really close to the West Lafayette schools, really close to Purdue University, and just like lovely home in nature. And look how well this has been, you know, updated. This is just absolutely beautiful, I think, on the inside. You know, this home was built in 1964, and you can see those touches. They haven't completely overridden them, but they have definitely, you know, made it modern. As we head into all the 4 of the bedrooms that you have, you can start to see some of the older touches, like the mirrored sliding doors on the closets there. 4 bedrooms and 4 baths, so lots of little pictures to look at there with the original hardwood floors that have been well taken care of, and moving into the updated bathroom. Got this one set up as an office, and you move downstairs to your game room, your party room, your theater, but it's got a wet bar. It's not even a wet bar. It's got a semi-kitchen down here. I mean, you have a sink and you have an in-wall oven downstairs. Kitchenette is the word that I am looking for. So you can go down there and have a good time on game night. And by game night, I mean when you go down there to play Dungeons and Dragons. Head out to your enclosed porch for your gym work. And, you know, like I said, in the Happy Hollow area, you get the sense that you are close to nature. This one's not quite as enveloped in nature so much as some of the Happy Hollow homes, but definitely, you know, some older, larger trees that still surround the property. So that is 204 Chippewa Street in West Lafayette. 4 bedrooms, 4 baths, 2,850 square feet on almost a third of an acre, currently priced at $450,000. So if you want to check out Chippewa, go to the LafayetteReal.com/YouTube, fill out that form, and I'll be in touch, because I'm Jeff Gooch, your local Lafayette real estate resource of choice. And then we will finish up our tour of homes here in the Greater Lafayette area. And we looked at $250,000 homes, we looked at $350,000 homes, and we're finishing up with what $450,000 will buy you here in the Greater Lafayette area. And we had an older luxury neighborhood in Capilano. We had a great 1960s home on Chippewa that is in the West Lafayette School Corporation, that is close to all the schools and close to Purdue University. And then we're going to finish up again with a West Lafayette address. Get this loaded here. That is also out in Capilano. Fun to do two Capilanos in one. It's in the Capilano neighborhood. So to see that comparison, compare and contrast a couple of homes from Capilano. This is 3718 High Acre Place in West Lafayette. 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, 2,752 square feet, so the better part of 3,000 square feet on 0.36 acres. And again, like many homes in Capilano, you feel like you're not completely disconnected from nature. You got some lovely older trees surrounding the house. I love that window, and we'll get to see it from the inside as well. A home that was built in 1972, and you can feel those touches on the inside where, you know, there's been some updating, but it's been a few years since the updating happened, so it's not original in 1972, but it's not 2026 either. But you can kind of see some of the window detail here in the picture of the dining room here. And it's the sort of home that, again, is ready to rock, ready to live, nothing wrong with it, but also ready to be made your own. You can get in here and live and then start to make edits and changes to it to make it your own. But at the $450,000 price point, you really start to get multiple living areas. You get, you know, a separate dining room as well as the eat-in dining room on the kitchen. You have the kitchen that has been more recently updated, modern appliances there, updated countertops and kitchens with the attached den there. I love that feature so that, you know, you can kind of sit there and read while the cooking's going on in the kitchen. Head out to the den with the massive sectional couch there. And you can see this is kind of like the original great room, right? Like it all runs in a line, but it's not just one big airspace, so you still feel kind of separate from each other. And you got plenty of room to spread out in your 4 bedrooms, your primary with the attached with the, you know, dual basin sink, and 3 other bedrooms on top of that. I got to go back. I enjoy this one every time I see it. The trim work. I know. Little fun things catch my eye. When you have 4 bedrooms, you can set one up as an office if you like. You got your enclosed 3-season screened-in porch back there. So that is 3718 High Acre Place in West Lafayette. This is in Capilano. 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, 2,752 square feet on 0.36 acres. Currently listed at $450,000. And if you would like to go see High Acre Place, go to thelafayettereal.com/YouTube. Fill out that form, and I will be in touch. I'm Jeff Gooch, your local Lafayette real estate resource of choice. So that wraps up our tour this evening of homes here in the Greater Lafayette area. We looked at what $250,000 will buy you here in Tippecanoe County. We looked at what $350,000 will buy you here in the Greater Lafayette area. We looked at what $450,000 will buy you here in the Greater Lafayette area. And again, if you'd love to see any of those homes, get a valuation on your home right now. If you need upsize or downsize, or you're just curious about your investment, go to thelafayettereal.com/YouTube, fill out that form, and I'd love to chat with you and help you out with your housing needs here in the Greater Lafayette area. But with that, we're going to wrap up here on At Lafayette Live. Thank you so much for joining me here on yet another Monday evening as the school year of summer, the summer school year, the break from school gets close to finished here towards the end of July, and we will see you again next time on At Lafayette Live. Have a great week, everybody.